Today, we are gonna talk about building our self confidence, but not in the way we maybe have done in the past. This isn't just about feeling strong enough to stand up for ourselves. This is about feeling comfortable being who we are so that we can build honest and meaningful connections. And my first step is to find or focus on our strengths. In DBT or dialectical behavior therapy, we call this building mastery, and we do this by figuring out what it is that we are good at. Are we good listeners? Maybe we make great playlists, or maybe we aren't sure what we do well. Perhaps we haven't taken much time to try out new things or to notice the things that we love doing that others in our life appreciate. It's important that we take note and cultivate that strength. Putting more focus and effort into the things we are good at will help us feel, you guessed it, more confident. And I know some of you may have thought immediately that you aren't good at anything, so this is just not gonna work, and I want you to stop that thought. We are all good at things, we just have to find out what. So stick with it and keep trying. We could be good at things like cleaning up, I'm pretty good at that, organizing, or reading books out loud. There are things we do each day that we are good at. It's just that we overlook them or assume that everyone is good at those things, but they aren't. You are. And once you have come up with a few things that you are good at, or maybe even things that you just enjoy doing that you want to master, we have to practice doing them. Maybe set aside some time each week to work on that favorite recipe or practice that new skill. And then, in the most important part of this is to give yourself credit for how well you did it. Journal about it or share with someone just how much you enjoy it and how you have been improving. Were there parts that were more difficult, and how did you push through and continue anyways? Building on our strengths and celebrating them can help us feel accomplished and competent, which only leads to more healthy confidence. Next is to recognize and stop that negative self-talk. Whether we realize it or not, we are having a constant conversation with ourselves about our world and how we are doing in it. We can get out of bed and immediately judge how tired we are, or how our body feels, or the fact that we slept in. We can brush our teeth and without muttering a word out loud, shit talk our appearance and the state of our home. We can say hundreds of nasty things to ourselves before we have even had our first cup of coffee. So try to slow down. Notice what you are telling to yourself and don't accept those thoughts as facts. Because thoughts are just thoughts, nothing more. And most of the time, they don't even have any evidence to support them, yet we accept them as if they did. In order to get us out of this negative thought cycle, we have to challenge them. Check our facts, and if there aren't any to support them, and no, other similar thoughts about the same issue are not facts either. But if there is anything to support them, we have to use bridge statements to move them into a more balanced place. Too often people just tell us think positive, but that doesn't always work. Sometimes the negative thoughts that we have been having for years. So trying to just switch it over into a positive one isn't gonna be believable right now. We are gonna have to move slowly in that direction, building a bridge toward a more positive outlook. So when we find ourselves thinking, God, I'm just so ugly and stupid, we need to realize that we are saying that. So identifying it first and then change it into something more balanced. Like, it's possible that I'm not as ugly or stupid as I think. I don't really have any recent facts to support these thoughts. We don't have to be sure of a more positive perception. We just have to be open to the possibility of a different one. So try and pick you 3 to 5 most common negative thoughts, check your facts about them, and then work on some bridge statements to move into a balanced place. Thoughts affect our mood, relationships, ability to do things, etc. So making them more balanced and positive can literally change our life. My third tip is to put positive out into the world. I know we are talking about ourselves and you are probably thinking, why would me being kind or positive toward others change how I feel about myself? Well, the truth is that negativity spreads like a virus, and even letting it into our mind when thinking about someone or something else can affect how we feel about ourselves and our environment. Challenge your mood to compliment everyone you saw in a day. And if you found yourself automatically thinking something mean or negative about them, you then had to come up with 2 compliments. And while this is really difficult at first and it feels like a terrible chore, it will get easier. And after just a week of doing this, your mood will noticeably improve. Since the pandemic has shifted things quite a bit, and many of you may be at home all day like me, we can even do this online. If we see a photo or video of someone, think and consider commenting something positive or supportive about it. Pulling our mind from our automatic response of judgment into a more loving place will be difficult at first. It's a new muscle, but it's really life changing, not to mention that by putting good thoughts and energy out in the world, we are more likely to attract other positive people. It just goes back to the law of attraction. But it's true that what we put out into the world, we get back. And I think we would all agree that we want positive, loving, and meaningful things in our life. So let's put that out there. And finally, my fourth tip is to accept our limitations and be courageous about it. And what I mean by that is working on being okay with saying, I don't know, or wow, I had no idea. Why don't you tell me more about that? Now I know this sounds silly when it comes to building confidence, but I have heard from many of you over the years how you aren't sure how to engage in conversations or that you maybe led someone to believe you love something that actually you don't know anything about. Being okay with not knowing and allowing someone to teach us something they love can not only ensure that our relationships are built on honesty, but it can also deepen the connections that we make. When we pretend to love doing an activity or act like we know a lot about something when we really don't, it doesn't allow for them to get to know the real us. Instead, they are getting to know this like pretenders with fake interests that we think will make us look more attractive to them. In a way, we are trained to read their minds by assuming that they will like us better another way when we really don't know that. And what we really need is to find someone who loves us for us. And of course, it's okay to enjoy doing some things with people we love just because we know that they love it. That's called giving with joy and something we do because we like making others in our life happy. But this shouldn't be something that we do all the time because by doing so, it can limit the space for us and the things that we love and not allow people to get to know the real us. Hopefully, those tips help you feel more confident and be better able to put yourself out there.